Hey, Anthony, what's going on? How are you? How's everyone's? It is Monday. Y'all know I be forgetting the days of the week. Listen, I'm gonna try this right quick before y'all come on. It's a cheesecake from Popeyes. I'll tell y'all how it tastes. It's okay. Peaches, sister, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever. Well, no, that's a lie. I just saw you last year. What is that? Diamond. What is that? I don't want that on my head. Yes. I had a great time at All American Goddess. It was different. I really enjoyed myself, honestly. And I would definitely be back. Maybe to compete. How's everyone doing on this Monday, June the... What's the date? 9. 10. So we are going to be talking to Azsia tonight, a.k.a. Kayla Finn, former Miss Everything. Just a few house announcements. We have Duval this weekend. So if you are going to Jacksonville, make sure you are down there supporting all the people at Duval. Unfortunately, I'll be with my dad. It's Father's Day weekend, so I can't be there. And so they have the Duval MBU, which is Friday. Mr. Miss starts on Saturday and Sunday. And then next week is Beautiful International in Atlanta. I'll be there performing. Honoring Katrina Davenport Dupree. That's in Atlanta. They're giving away $1,500. No contract. You get a stipend every month. So, you know, if you got the categories, which I think it's only 3, get to Atlanta and get that sponsorship for your next endeavor if you are considered beautiful. Then what's next? The Renaissance Takeover is in Houston, and it is in June the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So if you're in Houston, come out and see Renaissance, myself, my king, Scooby, and our junior king. We will all be in Houston. And then, so that's June. And then, of course, July, we have the Brunch and Learn, which is North America weekend. You can come in, learn about interview and question and answer, how to do good in those categories with Randall. You know, our promoter is a pageant coach and stuff with Miss America and Miss Universe and Miss USA. So he's very good at that. So he has put together this brunch and learn, eat, mock interviews, mock question and answers from 10 to 1 at his studios. So come out and support the Renaissance family with that. And then that night, of course, is North America. So we'll be there for the walk and all of that. So thank you all. Let me see if my king is on here. He's not. So yeah. So make sure you come out and support that. What else is going on? What's going on with this? I don't know why that diamond is up there. Yeah, so yeah, we have a lot going on and just waiting on Azsia to join and my king to join, and then we'll get started with her. So yeah. What have y'all been doing this weekend? How was your weekend? How was your week started? Anything new in your lives? Any new ventures? Anyone doing anything important? No? Okay. Understandable. Let's see a couple of people on. Hello to Mark and Eva and Jarvis and Lady LaTweet, my sister down there in Columbus, Georgia, who likes to shake it up, 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 up. And Auntie Tasha, thank you. Can't wait to get you on. Summer Breeze, hey sis. Beautiful purple gown that I saw you posted. You painted yourself good this weekend. Thank you. I tried. I had to get it. I had to take my time, but it was good for what it was. And so yeah. Shouts out to Randall. Weekend went great. Headed to Florida Thursday. What's in Florida? Are you going to see Tasha? She's in Florida. Hello, is it Mashati? Hello, Neek. I think I met you this weekend. Neek Molak Brand. I think that was you I met this weekend. Tell me that was you. There's my attorney friend, Demario Thornton Esquire. Gonna help me study for the LSATs more. Hey, Reggie. But yeah, I don't know why people are late. Practice so when you go, you can be on point. Well, I mean, I think that I'm the type of person that I see you out here, so I'm the type of person that, listen, I don't mind paying people to make me look beautiful, but if I have to, I have to. So this weekend I had to, but I prefer not to. I prefer not to. Okay, it was good to meet you too. Thank you. Oh, there's Miss Continental Plus. I saw her this weekend in her fiery red. So it's 7:00. We want to get started. I think my king will come on in later. So let's see here. Let's bring on Miss Aja. You gotta accept it. Did you accept it? There she go. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. Can you hear me good?
I hear you very well.
All right, let me bring on my king. Let me add him. Hey, King.
Hey, what's up? Hey,
Nothing. We just
Oh, hello, Wendell. Hello.
something covering your face. What's that? Okay, there you go. There you go. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
We're good. We just want to start off by saying thank you for joining us. We know that you are a busy woman, and we know that you have a lot going on, and so it's very honorable for you to join us here. We love talking to Renaissance family. You are from Miss Renaissance, so of course we have to have you on. So thank you for giving us this little hour or so of your time to talk to us. King, anything you want to say?
No, I just want to wish everyone a happy Monday. Thank you, Aja. We definitely wanted to have you on, Queen. Have definitely been talking about you for a while. So I'm glad we were able to schedule that. And just remind everybody that Renaissance will be taking place November 23rd and 24th in Atlanta, Georgia. Hopefully everyone can be there, be in the place. And if not, that's what's up.
So Aja, one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on is because we know you are someone that's going to always keep it real. That's clearly that. But you sit right at the cusp of what we consider the icons and legends. You are like that last class. You're not quite the age of the Tommies, Terrells, and Tashas. However, you're a little older than us. So you were able to see drag from, I think you've been doing this since 96, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
95.
So you're able to see drag almost 30 years, 3 decades. And someone like you've been around and you're still relevant today, still competing and still winning. So it's important to hear your story because I know you have several. So let's start from the beginning. Who had you in the club at 15? Where did Aja
Believe
begin?
believe it or not, me and my friends, me, Dianca, Angelica, Roderick, we would go to Third Dimension, and the gag was at the time Bianca was a very pretty butch queen.
Mhm.
So the older gays would let her in. And I was always Miss Savage Mouth. And they knew we were like 15, 16. So I couldn't get in because my mouth was always sassy. So they would show me and let them in, and I couldn't get in. But at some point, I started going in. And then once I started to dance with Basha and be in things with her, I started going into a lot more clubs at 16, being in Chicago at Continental, Southern Nights in Orlando, all the clubs. So
Okay.
I was getting into clubs early because, and on Basha's name, like she doesn't drink, let her in. She was very persuasive with the folks. She knew how to get her way. So yeah, I was very early on in the clubs with them.
Okay. So tell us, where did the name Aja come from? Let's start there.
Okay, so basically, I was shown a video by the late legendary Vanessa Knight from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, she lived in Jacksonville. She showed me a video. It was the Miss Orange County pageant. It's a pageant they used to have down in Orlando. And all the girls would run. It was almost like a Miss Duval. So like Santana T. Summers was in it. I think Shay Shay had competed for, like, all the girls would do it. So I saw this video, and this woman came out in this purple suit with this big hat, and she just commanded the stage, and the kids were losing it. And this is when I was watching VHS tapes, okay? And they were living, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. Like, I was so intrigued. And I end up meeting Basha at some point, and she wanted me to be in her presentation for this pageant called Miss Bitch. I snuck from my parents' house, was with her the entire weekend. And when I woke up Sunday after she won the pageant, she was gone. And bitch, I was looking like Boo Boo the Fool, because I was like, oh my God, what am I going to tell my parents where I've been? Because I basically just hijacked it for the weekend, didn't tell anybody anything, just to be in this lady presentation. And after that point, that summer, I started to hang with her. I started to back up dance for her. We would do pageants. I would pack her bags. I would make sure every earring matched. Like, I would be the mannequin for her costumes while she was hot gluing the shit on them. But it was my grooming ground. And at Miss Florida, I want to say the year Heather Fontaine won, I had done this and traveled with her. And as we were packing up, she told all the dancers and everybody, like, this is my daughter, and her name is Asha.
So she picked your name.
She gave me my name.
Okay. Were you okay with that, or did you want to change it?
Absolutely, because that was like my icon in my eyes, the person that I adore and look up to, and I feel like she's like the baddest queen on earth at this time, because I didn't know of anyone else and stuff until I started to travel with her. Of course, that meant a lot to me, that my mom, she's telling y'all she's my mom, and officially I'm her daughter, her first and only daughter, and her name is Aja, and I thought that was so sickening. So I kept that name.
So you were a muse, you did presentations, you backed up, you got your name. What was your first show? What song did you do?
I'm gonna go with funny. I performed at this club called the 209, and I had another gay mother, Passion Sinclair, before I met Basha. And I had gotten some clothes of hers and some of my cousin stuff. And I think I want to say I did a pageant. My first show was an actual pageant, Trinity. Okay. And I was in the pageant doing the categories, and for evening gown, I had on passion shoes, and I wore like a size 8. She wore 12. So, bitch, I'm on stage in these boats looking sick, man, but the kids are
Right.
cackling because they like, girl, the shoes.
Mhm.
So that moment was my first foolish moment in a pageant, honestly.
Did you? So you didn't win, I guess.
No,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
No, Avante Iman, I want to say, won the pageant that night.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so that was the beginning of your
that was the
moment.
beginning.
Okay.
That was the beginning.
Ken, you got anything?
Well, I do have one question about that. So after you did that one pageant, did you start doing shows after that?
Absolutely. I started doing shows at we had this, I forgot this club's name. Actually I was in school. I was in high school still. So
Mm-hmm.
as Tanisha them, as we were living together, my focus had to be school because Rick was like, you got to go to school and get your diploma. Like, we not having all that. So they really got to focus on shows a lot. So I didn't really start to do shows until after I started winning like the newcomer pageants, to be honest. Because I was going to school. So after that, that's when I started like doing the shows after doing Miss Jacksonville newcomer. I think I did Tallahassee newcomer. I was more intrigued by the pageants. However, after I started to win the pageants is when the shows started coming along more for me because now I was out of school, I was able to do a little more, and be in the clubs fully. So, yeah.
And so you said that you had another drag mother before Basha. And I know, like, I have two drag mothers, and still to this day, it's hard to navigate.
Right.
So how did you navigate that?
What actually, me and Passion ended up falling off, and she went on to do her own thing. So this, I lost touch with her. So I was fully engulfed with Basha because by this time I'm traveling with her. I'm everywhere with her. Everyone knows this is my mother. So I think our relationship kind of faded out because I started really being with Basha more, and she went on with her life and things like that. So it kind of separated, and I end up more with Basha.
Yeah, it was organic. It just happened.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you did that. You started doing the newcomer pageants, and you began to create a name for yourself. How was that navigating being in school? I'm assuming doing pageants on the weekend, going back to school. How did your family, your biological family, how are they intertwined in all of this? What are they saying?
Well, when I first started running with Basha them, my grandmother didn't know that my parents basically what was going on, I was going to school during the school year, and in the summer, like the last day of school, I was not coming home because I was going to be with my extended family.
Okay.
Like that was my summer break, to be with those I identify more with, my family. I can be myself. I can wear my dresses. I can wear my hair. I can be, who I ultimately want to be. So it became more of an understanding because my grandmother put me in the Florida Star as a missing child. It was so embarrassing because when the gays get a hold of that was like a true kiki to them. But my parents knew, okay, she's gonna go be who she wants to be. She's coming back, going to school during the year. And it got to the point where my mom knew Rick and Walter, and she was like, take her. Y'all been taking care of her. I know y'all not gonna hurt her. I know who you all are. So my mom basically allowed me to grow up with Rick and Walter in their care and go to school because she knew they were gonna make me go to school. I was gonna get my education, but I was able to be myself.
Okay.
That's how that played out.
Is that when Kayla Finn came, as far as the name change, or did that come after?
No, that came down the line. Like once I started dating guys and started really coming into my element as a trans woman.
We'll get to that. Okay. So now you're developing this name and you're doing pageants. Now, how, because you're still young, how are you experiencing going into these pageants with these big name people? Competing against huge.
It's normal. It's honestly normal because my mother was going into these pageants with some of the same girls. And so I was fully aware of their capabilities and their talents and what they had to offer. So, did I now I'm the type of girl that I'm just going to prepare for the contest the best way I know how. I'm not going to worry about what the other girls are doing or what they can possibly bring. That's not my focus. My focus is me and getting me to the crown. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you have some incriminating videos out here where you did Miss Sweetheart one year, that Jasmine Bonet won, and honey, you acted up at Crown. Tell us about that. What was going on? What was going through your head?
Okay, so once again, that goes back to learning how to compete. Remember, I had a great grooming ground because I'm in the house with Basha, Alexis. You know, I know some of the heavy hitters at this time, so I know how to do a pageant, and then I'm also at this time. I think I was doing my 1-2s too.
Yeah.
So it was like I knew how to buy my packages. I knew what to get. I knew what my elements gave. And, you know, when you're in a pageant and you're looking around, you can kind of feel and you can kind of, I'm judging girls when I'm in a pageant. Whether I see stains, if I'm not feeling the makeup. Now, is that my focus? No, but I'm seeing these things as we are passing each other. So if I'm seeing it, I'm hoping the judges are seeing these things, okay? And then I think maybe I wanted my star to rise very soon. And the pageant industry is an industry that where you have to grow up. Like a lot of times you're not coming in beating the girls, even if you were beating the girls.
Right.
Okay, let's just be very clear about that. There were judges that were holding girls back that did have the potential, but because this is a new baby, we really don't know her track record. We don't really know if she can go around and travel. And then we have this vet that we know is capable of doing a round. Okay. So the best we could do for Lil Baby is give her first runner up because she's gonna come back. But you know, in my mind at that time, I'm young. I'm not really understanding the business or the game at that time because it's a game, it's political. So that was hurting to me because I knew in my heart, I was like, I won this pageant. I knew that. And then to also hear, you know, some people even like, hey, I felt like you won, but I'm one judge and things like that. But I got over it. I moved forward, you know, because like I said, I didn't understand the industry and the game at that time.
Okay. So you didn't realize this. Okay, this is political. Let me just wait my turn.
I didn't know. I'm thinking like you win a pageant, you smoke a pageant because remember, Basha's my mother, and there were plenty of times people would say, okay, this pageant is rigged for this girl, and she said, well, I'm gonna go unrig it, and she would go do just that, but I didn't have the name like Basha. You see what I'm saying? So if my mom can do it because this is who I'm learning from, then I know I can do it. You know, I have the confidence. I know how to dot all my I's and cross my T's, but not knowing at the time, it was very about where you were or where you are in your career at that time.
I have a question on that though. So like once you did build your name, did you ever have to deal with or experience a newcomer that felt like she should have beat you? And if so, like what was the difference?
I'm sure. Absolutely. Depending on what I've done. There were pageants when I was the new girl and I beat veterans and they felt like, no, ma'am, she didn't beat me. But hey, it is what it is. It was my night. It was my time. I had started putting my time in and I was competing effectively. So I probably have been in that, you know, that moment. But what am I to do? Take this off and give it to her because I think or she assumes? Like, no, I was crowned. I'm the rightful winner. So did Jasmine do that?
Right. You had a moment where you just talked about you were slightly probably a newcomer new where you did beat a veteran by the name of Tasha Long. What were you thinking when you beat her at Liberty? Or I don't want to say beat her, when you won Liberty that year.
When I won it, honestly, that was very like Tasha. It was very like how I am today when I come in a pageant. I think Tasha had just given up Continental and she had that she got her C and
Yeah.
she had that air about herself. She came in like, baby, so did I expect it? No, but was it accurate? Yes. And I think that it was very nostalgic for me because it never really registered to me until later on in my career, if that makes sense. Because when you're young and you're doing things, you're doing them just because or for whatever reason. And I didn't understand probably in that moment until I grew like, bitch, I beat Tasha Long. Like later on down the line, it was just a moment of happiness for me, and I was congratulated by, in that moment, the girls I had admired and looked up to, like being embraced by the Sashas and all of them, like, you did it, you got it, it was like a high. Like, but did I pay attention? Like, oh girl, I beat Tasha. Like, not in that moment.
So do you think that's a shift? Like, do you think that that's where you shifted as far as moving from the new girl to one of the girls?
Absolutely. Yes, Wendell. It was a big shift. And I didn't start to really recognize that until I started to capture more things as I went on in my career. I was like, oh, girl, you're really a bad little bitch. Like, you're doing something, because once again, pageantry at the time was more of a because I can do it because I have the finances. It wasn't a lot of blood, sweat, and tears like when I competed for Continental, and we'll touch on that.
Yes.
So that was a whole different thing because all of those pageants leading up to that, I had probably, baby, was stealing, like shit, so when you get to a point in life when you realize, like, I could have really been doing this way, like, I worked, like, and it was nothing stolen, and I put my time and my finances. I was working a job, and I had to balance work life and preparing for a pageant. And then that also was a time for me coming out of a dark place I was in, because that's when I had been dealing with the bad silicone, and it really started to affect me because it's turning the color of my body, and I'm never gonna be able to be Miss Continental. I can't do a swimsuit, and so I took a break from it, and then one day it was like, okay, you've conquered, you deserve to, although you were doing extracurricular, but that was a moment to prove to myself that I can be a swimsuit winner, or, I can do this, because I had to come up with an aesthetic to blend, and I started doing the shows again more heavily because I was learning my technique to camouflage. And as I got better with it, it was like, okay, I can do this, and went and won swimsuit both nights. So it gave me so much gratification for myself that never give up on yourself.
So
never.
Let's before we move on to the next topic, if you go back to your background and everything you went through with Basha being her muse and in and out of school and doing that and being with Rick and Walter and all of them, is there anything that you would change about from that aspect to where you became the Azsia from that standpoint? Would you do anything different?
Yes, nothing concerning my career leading up to becoming who I am in the industry now. No, but I wish I had someone around me when I was doing the extracurricular to show me how to invest or flip properties or do something better with my money. And maybe I could have had something to fall back on. Because, when you look up and you go on and you've done all these things and you jeopardize your freedom and you have none of that stuff to account for. Like, I don't have any of those items, any of that furniture, any of those cars, any of those designer bags. None of that, like, because you lose it because you weren't getting it the proper way. So I kind of wish I did have someone that was more into like a financial aspect, like, hey, I know you're doing this, you're doing it right. Have you learned how to invest, or have you learned how to do this? That's the only thing I would change.
Okay, got it. So moving to a topic that you've been very open about, and I know you just had a surgery, so we want to talk about the silicone. First of all, how are you doing with that? How's your healing going?
I'm good. I still
Oh,
have drains
okay.
currently.
Okay.
But this procedure was far more. This was a piece of cake this time. That first procedure where it was the removal, that was absolute hell. Like it just it gagged me that, something you make a choice to do knowing this person isn't certified, knowing you're running a risk, and it took maybe 20 to 45 minutes, and then it's taken me almost a lifetime for some
So
to
yeah,
get
take us
it.
back to that. What made
Okay.
you decide to do it?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason. What made you decide to do it, and take us through the journey of you doing it, everything you might have had to go through
Mm-hmm.
for it, and to where you are today with your silicone.
Okay. Well, you're growing. I'm from Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and my era was shit. Uncle Luke, the loop dancer, shake dancer. That was that was realness to me. Like if you could go out and you
Yeah.
bodied and you getting the attention of the men, it's
Mm-hmm.
all about getting the attention. So when you're navigating through this thing called, being trans, and you're meeting girls along the way and they are obtaining this, doing this same thing, it's like, hey, now you're starting to hear things. And then Basha was being pumped by Viva at the time, and I remember her letting me get a little pin, like they call it your apples
Mm-hmm.
done. And Rick flipped out on her, like, no, ma'am. Like, why would you do that? I was probably like 16 or 17 by this time.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick was like, no. I just feel like when I started, we weren't afforded the things we have today in medicine, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So me going along the way and seeing the body beautiful Raquel and Sasha's bodies coming along, and all these bodies are, you thinking, okay, I'm going to be the same way.
Right.
Not knowing, and I started out with some of the greats in silicone. Like the first person to ever pump me body wise was Fred. And I wish I had stayed with Fred. Like I wish I, had someone to say, hey, he started that foundation for you. Why don't you go just stick with him? And believe it or not, Chris Higgins took me to Fred. I'll never forget. And it was a wonderful experience, very professional, very clean, had no issues.
Mm-hmm.
Had no issues. So now I'm meeting, some of the down South Florida girls, you coming up in your career, you're meeting people, and now my girlfriend over here, she got the body. Like, girl, who did your body? And now it's word of mouth. And then I think I got wrapped up into it too heavily and didn't do my research on the individual, because I didn't find out a lot about the situation until after the fact and after I started having the issues. I had hosted a pump party, and you remember Young and Tender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She had a friend named William, and apparently he was doing the pumping, and it had been legit because some of my girlfriends in the South Florida area had, and they hadn't had any problems.
Right.
So now I'm hosting the pump parties at my house. I got the fish from Florida coming over, and the girls, and everyone's coming through, and we're all fine and no issues. And then I was talking to one of my girlfriends, God bless her soul, Chantrell, Destiny Braxton,
Yes.
and she was like, because we used to talk on the phone all the time, and she was like, girl, I got a boil. And I was like, a boil? She was like, damn, I'm gonna go get some stuff to put on it. She was like, you ain't having no problems, are you? And I was like, no, girl, as I'm in the mirror,
Checking it out.
yeah, and probably like a week or two later, I got a hard, like, lump at the top of my butt. And I was like, what's going on? And it just got really sore, it got really big, and it started to pus really badly. And I didn't know what was going on. And I had literally like a hole. Like I could look in the top of my butt, and I could see. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And whatever it was that I had been pumped with the second time had to be the substance that was an issue, because I woke up and it was moving, because my body was rejecting whatever this substance was in my body. So it's trying to move. Girl, I woke up and couldn't walk because it had literally moved around to my groin area. So I get to the hospital, and let me tell you something. I'm very honest with the doctor and my lawyer. I've always learned that, because maybe they can find a loophole somewhere. But I told them, hey, I got something. Had a silicone party. I got pumped with silicone. I don't know if that's the issue. So they gave me an IV for like infection or like an antibiotic.
Right.
And they sent me on my way, because you know, this time you laid there and did this, and we don't know what to do with that at this time. Like, this is, and you shouldn't have been doing that. Like, why would you let someone that's not a doctor? And for me, in that moment is when it started to go downhill, because now my body's rejecting this substance. I don't know what to do. You know, now we're doing these home remedies where they're saying, oh, this person could do the cortisone shots, and maybe that'll help. And then you could urinate it out, and maybe that. And then at this time, I probably didn't have no money for no cortisone shots. And I'm like, so my body just started to just go downhill from there, because it was not being removed. So now it has turned hard, and it's just colored. It's just unsightly. I'm over depressed about it. You know, I'm hiding it.
I was going to ask you that. Does anyone else know this? Are you keeping this to yourself?
Well, I'm kind of talking to my girlfriend, Chantrell, because we kind of navigating the same side effects at this time. And then come to find out, there's other girls that's dealing with the same thing in secret. But me and her are able to really talk about it, because we're having the same. It's like, girl, what is going on? What we gonna do? You know, these doctors not trying to touch us because we the girls, and this is foreign to them, because you shouldn't be trying to be no woman anyway, you know, at this time.
Look,
so it's like,
Azsia, I have a question about that with the doctor part. Like, now that would be malpractice if they were to turn you away. But during that time, it was still so fresh that
it was still fresh. Nobody knew what was going on. We don't know. We really don't know what this person is putting you. And if it is real silicone, what if your body is actually rejecting this real substance? Because it shouldn't be just sitting in your body, you know? So it's like, kind of like now why would you go get implants where the substance is in a bag, but then you're going to go and let somebody in? Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
you. God,
but you're going to go and let someone inject the substance just right into your body, into your bloodstream, or into your lungs. You know, you're just trying to obtain. You're trying to become a woman. You're not thinking nobody's gonna keep me in, and we all one happy community, and we gonna look out for each other. You know, I was really green to a lot of things back then. You know, so yeah, it just went very downhill for me, relationship wise, insecure wise. Just, it was like a trickle down effect for me with it, you know, health wise, and not being able to get any answers or get any help. So I probably dealt with that for a good 20 years.
It was that long?
It was that long. When I go back to, so around 2006 or 7 is when I was really getting pumped and everything. So just imagine just being able to get this resolved in 2022. That's how many years now?
Yeah,
so
you're right.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I lived with that and went through the changes of my body being disformed and disfigured, because you got to remember at one time it was like, okay, it's one color, but it's hard. And now this stuff really want to come out. It's hard, and it done turned me dark. Like right in that area, and you started to see where it was actually put in, if it was deep enough in, if it was under the tissue, if it was on top. It had done really pressed, and this substance is really trying to come out. And then imagine going and navigating all these years, going to doctors, being told they could help you, and then turn around and say, oh, I can't do it, or they're telling you these extreme amounts of money. It's like, girl, this is never coming out of me. Like, I give up. And when I say I give up mentally. I give up. That took a lot. I'm the big bad Azsia. Like I'm like, I'm not even feeling the stage anymore. I'm not happy. Then I'm feeling like, when I open up to men about that, and because this man, he's accepting of me and he knows my flaws, now I'm allowing myself to just accept anything from a man,
right?
Because I'm dealing with that, and I don't want to go through the motion of explaining that to a man again, and he loved me, and a lot of life lessons,
right?
And I'm gonna take you one further, because I've been to therapy about a lot of things, and with age comes wisdom, and I had a moment one day, just spiritually, with God and myself, and I realized that I felt like what I was going through, because of what I'd done in my past illegally. Remember, I've only been to jail. I never went to prison,
right?
Because God knew I was not built for prison, and I've only been to jail. I've done months in jail, but never went to prison. And I felt like Trinity, when I had a moment, I feel like that was my prison for what I had done wrong. And God decided to release me from prison in 2022.
So tell us about that. Tell us about how you found the doctor and how all of that happened.
Okay, so I go back to say I figured out how it was going to be continental. I'm happy. I win the category. I'm like, oh, wow. I moved to Connecticut with my job.
I remember that.
COVID happens. The company comes and says, hey, we're getting rid of your role. We just took a major loss. What do you want to do? You don't have to pay us back for us relocating you. I'm like, okay, send me to Orlando, because I had left Orlando after the Post shooting, after being a survivor of the Post. I'm like, okay, I love Orlando. Send me back to a Nordstrom in Orlando. And they were like, they don't have no jobs there. Did not want to go back to Jacksonville. End up back in Jacksonville for a reason, because my mom had to have a surgery. Was there with her, and I met Zakia again, because I've already known her from when she was Black America, but we kind of rekindled and met once I won Continental Elite. And I was going through with the job. I was not happy. I wanted to leave. I needed something different. She reached out to me and asked me some questions, because I had already came to Virginia and taken some like certification classes on testing and all that, because I wanted to do my own little nonprofit thing. I thought it was so simple, from the outside looking in.
We all wanted to.
And she called me and offered me a job.
Okay.
And that brought me to Virginia.
Okay.
I'm doing the testing, the prep. I'm just like learning it all. I'm like, oh God, I'm meeting people. I'm just loving what I'm doing. I'm in my element, especially even working with, the young trans women that are coming in for testing, and, you're telling them your story, and they're really listening, and like, okay, because I can trust you, and I'm listening to what you're saying, and I don't want to, I'm like telling them about silicone and all that. So this is really gratifying for me, because I'm in my element.
Right.
And I'm really believing, God brings you and puts you in places for reasons or a season. And I was hanging out with Sequoia, because we were hanging in Norfolk and Richmond, and a young lady by the name of Joni. that's from the Norfolk area. Me and Sequoia happened to see her out. I didn't know her. And when her and Sequoia had spoke and Sequoia walked off, she was like, "Oh, that's Joni. I think you may know her if you see her, but she knows the doctor that does the silicone removals." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "For real?" Because I done seen so many doctors in Florida and all these places and New Jersey and nothing. So didn't really know her, and I reached out to her on, instead of me saying like, "Hey, Sequoia, you'll put me in touch." I think Sequoia may have put me in touch with her. I think I found her on Facebook, and I reached out, and she gave me the doctor's information.
Wow.
And I was able to go into this surgeon's office. I told him my story, and he must have felt compassion for me, and he said, "We're gonna do it." And girl, I was so happy. Like, he was like, "We're gonna do it." He scheduled it. He did the removal on October 6th, 2022. Come to find out, once he opened me up and removed what was in me that was bad, he removed everything down to the good tissue and the good. It was caulk in my body. So I had lived with caulk, probably mixed and diluted with something. When he said when I woke up, he said it was caulk. So God spared my life all this time, even with all the struggle. I need to sit on a heating pad at work. I need to sit on heating in the car. I need a heating pad at home, and horrible. Can't lay on your side. Can't do this. Can't do that. And then on top of the struggle with what it looks like when you take your clothes off and you're not happy and you just want to caulk. So having that removed from my body, my health changed in so many ways. Like,
sure,
I wasn't sluggish anymore. I wanted to exercise again. I had a different perspective about myself. Like, Dr. Stranix really helped me and saved my life. And I thank Joni for all the elements that lined up to bring me here. Zakia, Joni, Dr. Stranix, Favor ain't there. And the crazy thing about it is, I told him, I said, "Dr. Stranix, is so many girls that I know that need this same thing from you." And I say, it's going to be a lot of girls reaching out. I said, because I'm really known in my community.
Right.
So a lot of people know my struggle and know what I went through. So when they know that that this has happened for me, they're going to be reaching out. Girl, Dr. Stranix is not doing silicone removals anymore, because he says he started to see cases far more worse than mine. And he's like, they're very, very dangerous. He doesn't want to lose his license or someone lose their life, because he's a gender affirming care doctor. He's very big on trans men and women. He's a gender affirming care doctor. He does all the surgery. So me and Joni were blessed, and probably a few other girls before us were blessed to have him remove it from either the face, the body. But after my surgery, and I was sending girls over, I seen the emails with my own eyes where they had said that Dr. Stranix has decided to no longer do these. They're very dangerous. And he told me when I came back from follow-up visit, he said, "Yeah, I'm not. It just was dangerous." So God placed it. It was just the angels, my praying mother. It was just meant to be for me. That he took the time, and he didn't just do a removal. He didn't just want money. He didn't just botch me up. This man really took his time. And I even had another health issue that he would not move forward with until I had that looked out, and I was so irritated with him. But it happened to be something really serious. I had that done. He did my removal. It was purity hell, because I was on a womb vac for 8 weeks, 2 months. And those had to be changed every other day. I had a home nurse coming. And just imagine pulling, this sticky tape from this fresh, raw skin, and you got to impact. I'm in the house screaming and
Yes,
crying,
of course.
and I'm like,
But
Jesus.
it was necessary.
It was necessary, and I thank my community, and I thank those that really.
We got it. We got it. Mm-hmm.
You know, you just think about girls that were not as fortunate.
Yeah.
And God spared my life for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And girls go get punked one time and don't make it off the table. So you're like, why me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm a living testimony, you know. And I didn't understand why was I chosen.
For this moment like this, for moments like this where girls and guys need to hear and understand that what you went through is a blessing. You know, you had to go through the 20 years, 18 years, however long it was, and for you to be on platforms to tell your story. So never not tell your story. Whenever you get a chance, we have to hear it.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, and then I got to a point where I healed from 2022 until May of 2024, and the body is so amazing, and everything he pulled out, my body regenerated. I have pictures, but I have like literally gaping holes in my body where you could put your hand in me, and it's like, why would somebody do that to someone? Why would someone want someone to struggle or lose their life? I just never understood that, and I hated that person for a long time, but I forgive them because I made that decision. I allowed that, you know, I knew better. They also knew better. So I forgive them. I moved on because I had so much hate in my heart for that person. Like,
have you spoke to him or seen him or anything?
I spoke to the individual when I won Continental Elite, and we happened to cross paths on Facebook, and he reached out and he was like, "Oh my God, I was so happy for you when you won Continental Elite," and I still wasn't at that healing point with that, and I just went off. I'm like, bitch, you don't like me. You tried to kill me. Like, I wasn't in that place yet that I'm in now at that time. You know, that forgiving it. Like, don't play in my face. You being funny, you know, and it could have been very genuine, but I was not in that place. I wasn't healed yet.
Right.
You know, now I'm healed and I can say, you know, I forgive you. So
Did she freeze? Okay.
I'm back. All right. I was very happy with the removal because to see like where I started from the removal to how I healed, I started becoming happy with my little butt and my little scars, you know, because I feel good again. And then Dr. Stranix, he did a reconstruction surgery.
Okay.
And with this particular surgery, being that it looks like cosmetic, you know, my company really didn't. They're not trying to pay no lead because it's like, girl, you're going to have a BBL. Right. That's not a medical. They looking at it like I'm just going to have this cosmetic so I can be snatched when I come back, not knowing the full story, you know, backstory on everything. But it's all good. God has made a way. I'm surviving. I'm good. Thank you all who have sent and just sent love or donations or just words of encouragement. Thank you so much. And I have one more surgery. Okay. I'm very pleased with how I look now. My color has come back. I know the new scars will fade. I was lifted. I was like, oh my God, like I have a butt again. I have a butt again. But the next surgery, he will do a fat transfer to plump it up. Okay. He was going to do it on the 30th, but he's like, the tissue and everything would have been strong enough to hold the fat. I just want to do this in steps. So one more step, he do a body contour or fat transfer, and we'll be done. But I'm very happy.
It's gonna be nasty around now.
Yeah, you know, Azsia, I just want to say that I'm like so thankful because you're telling your story
Mm-hmm.
and people have a chance to hear, because there are so many people that walk in shame. And so
Mm-hmm.
they would just go and fix it and come back. But you're opening up because there are so many, like even when you talk about the person who did it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that person probably didn't even realize that they were doing something that was life threatening because they were trying to make a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
just the beauty that you can talk about it, so many
Yes.
people can grow from that. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So one last thing, because they're still happening now. What would you tell a young girl or older girl that is thinking about going get silicone? What advice or what words of encouragement, wisdom, or what have you? What would you tell somebody tonight that may be watching?
You know what? I'm not going to shame that young lady or that older lady. You know why? Because everybody means of money is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't go to a plastic surgeon and give 15 or 20,000 a while. You know, there are some girls that can do that. But now, my advice to you is just really think about it. If it's something you've been doing and it's working for you, so be it. Stick with that same person. But do know there are so many gender affirming surgeons out here that now take insurance, darlings, that you really don't have to lay on that table. Doctors are doing breast implants, facial film, butt enhancements on insurance.
SRS.
SRS, vaginoplasty, like, and do your research on your insurance companies. There's companies like Aetna. I'm an Aetna girl. Aetna has gender affirming care. Like, they provide gender affirming care with Aetna. So research your insurance companies, talk to these doctors, ask them all the questions. These doctors have learned how to write these things to these insurance companies, and insurance is approving because this is something that's detrimental to this person. This makes them feel complete. They may commit suicide, and there are ways out there now that it can be done. Okay. But if you are gonna still take that step, just be careful.
Thank you.
And I think we should also challenge some nonprofits. I'm a part of one, but we should, because we put so much money toward the entertainment side of it. But we have so many young ladies and older women that just need some help with that. So I think we should also reach out, and that's something me and Queen can talk about, because maybe we can issue some challenges to some nonprofits to put money towards that.
And that's so funny you said that, Wendell. My goal is to ultimately, I would love to connect with gender affirming care doctors around the area, or it don't matter the state, and maybe, sometimes a give back. A lot of surgeons, people do teeth. They do one person a year. What if we could get a girl surgeon to connect with a girl and do a service for her for free, just to help her out or help her navigate a little better? I think that's an option, being presented as a nonprofit, just building a team of doctors that are trans friendly, that are doing the affirming care. Maybe we can build a network or something to that magnitude where they.
So we should work together on. We can all three work together on that. Pro bono is a thing. They get it paid. They get it back in their taxes. So it is truly a thing.
Tax write off. So that's something I would love to get the ball rolling on, if possible.
All right, Kayla Finn. So one of the things that I admire about you is you have what a lot of girls, I think, at one time aspired to have. You were able to navigate this world as Kayla, as well as Azsia, and be successful in both realms. In girl world, being passable can be a blessing and a curse. Being pretty and passable is a blessing and a curse. And I'm more than sure you've experienced that in so many different ways. Tell us about some times where you've had the pros and cons of being someone who is extremely real as well as pretty in your life. What are some things you've had to deal with, pros and cons, for having both of those elements?
Younger me, just being real enough to navigate in a whole entire world that knew nothing about me, and nobody's, and when they find out, it's like a clutch of pearls. It's so but that can also be dangerous,
right?
Like you say, it's a gift and a curse. a lot of times when you're the pretty girl, you're automatically made to be the bitch. When people don't even know you, they never met you. They just see you on these tapes or on these videos, and they think you're one way. And then when they get to meet you, it's like, oh, I was wrong. I like that because I'm not a bitch, and I'm at the point in my life now. However you feel about me, if you feel I'm messy, you feel I'm a bitch, however you feel, it's cool because that's not for me to worry about at
Okay.
all. Navigating with straight kids, it could be some cisgender women that's very evil and they can do real vindictive things and put you in harm's way, because I've done all that and hung with the straight kids. And I think when it comes to heterosexual people, you have to be obviously what you are to them, especially in Jacksonville. They want you to be obvious. We got to know you a queen. You tricking us too good. You too good, and that's a problem for me. And now it's becoming dangerous for me when I'm out, because I'm thinking I'm with my allies or a group of women I can trust, when that's not the case, because you're telling this man what I am when you really don't know what's between my legs. And then you're either opening Pandora's box, because this is something he already intrigued by and been wanting to try, and now it's right here. Or it could be, where you're lured somewhere and you think you're so real, and then you lose your life. So it's just like, it's been beneficial
When it needs to be.
when it needs to be. It's not all that.
So at your state in life now, are you in this place of stealth, or are you just don't care? You are who you are. You're going to live how you live, and that's that.
You know what? I'm about to be 46 years old. I remember I had that phobia about people knowing my teeth. I'm past that now, girl.
Okay.
Like, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, we're living in a different age and time. However, I do feel like I'm not going into a room, or I'm not going into a new job announcing to everyone I work
Right.
with, oh, I like people to get to know Kayla for Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get to that point where we do become close and I disclose that, a lot of times it's like, you're still a woman to me because you've gotten to know me. I don't believe in telling that off the bat, because people have preconceived notions about trans people and things like that. So I like people to get to know me for me before I even go, because everyone is not deserving of that information of you.
Right. So, getting to know you, what is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Thanksgiving.
So you can eat.
So I can eat. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite color?
Black is my favorite color.
Why is that?
It's just so, like, you can do anything in black and it almost look right. Now sometimes you could put the wrong color with it. Just give me all black. Purple originally, because it represents royalty, but I'm gonna have to go with black because black can be slimming. It can camouflage a lot depending on how it's made or it's structured. Black. I love black.
Growing up, what was your favorite television show to watch?
I'm gonna have to go with Dynasty, because in my era there were not the RuPaul Drag Race and all that, where you could see people on TV like you, so you had to, you're wanting to be a woman, so you want to be the Alexises and things like that. So, and live that, that
Glamour
upscale life as a woman, that glamour life. So Dynasty.
Who's your favorite artist, singer, rapper?
Right now, for me, I live for Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
I live for Meg.
Okay.
I do a lot of her music. I like Meg.
Okay.
I like Meg. Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite actor and actress?
To be honest, Trinity, I'm not a big TV person.
Okay.
But if I had to pick, and of course Denzel Washington, he, you know, back when I was into TV, and he's an icon in film. And I would go with Viola Davis
Okay.
because she's really great at any role she embraces and
That's true.
captures. Like, she can really put you in an era when she's on the screen, like when they did the movie The Help. Like, you know, that kind of puts you in. I love an actress or an actor that can make me feel like I'm in that moment with them, and that's what Viola does for me. So I would have to go with Viola Davis.
If you could live in any decade from the past, which decade would it be?
The HIV decade, with PrEP and medicine, you know, beforehand, like, so we can, like, so those people that lost their lives could still be here with us, if that make any sense. I would still have, you know, a lot of people that were in my life and pivotal to me. So if I can live in that decade again, but have the medication we have today, that is the decade I would want to live in again.
What is something that pisses you off, makes you mad, upsets you?
Delusion. Delusion.
Give us an example of delusion to you.
Well, you know, it could be so many elements of delusion, because you could be delusional, and then, excuse me, the bitches hanging around you could be delusional. So when you see a group of delusional bitches and they really boosted the delusion industry, it's like, that just grinds my gears. Delusion, like the whole group delusional. It's nobody there that say, now girl, you mean to tell me it's no one on your team or in your circle that's being 100% honest with you? And that's one thing I don't like. My friends know me. My circle is so close. Like, my call log, it's the same 5 people. Right. It's like a top 5 again. Like when you had the Motorola phone. Yes. yeah, your fave 5.
That T-Mobile.
Like that way. Yes, because my friends tell me when I'm wrong, like, girl, you shouldn't have did that. Like, that's the kind of friends I like to have around me. Like, girl, you was wrong. Like, no yes man. Yeah. Like, knowing I was wrong and you're still like, oh girl, you turned it. You should have got that bitch. Like, no. My friends, Dimitri, Valencia, Rick, you know, he's always correcting me, like, you can't do that, or you shouldn't be doing that.
You're Azsia. What makes you cry? A good cry or a bad cry? Just cry.
When I sit back and look over my life, where I come from, what I've learned about myself. I'm still flawed sometimes. I'm not perfect. I have my moments where I read the shit out of a bitch to myself or in my house, and like, girl, that was not necessary. Or, you know, you have a thought about something or someone you want to read, and everything is not to be talked about. Or I'm at that era, you know. Yeah.
Is Jacksonville forever home, or do you see yourself leaving again?
I do not want to live anywhere else ever again unless the opportunity is absolutely fucking amazing.
Okay.
Whatever it is. That's the only way if I leave Jacksonville, Florida again, because I've lived somewhere since I was 18, Trinity. Like, I've lived in Atlanta 3 times. I lived in Houston. I lived in Colorado. I've lived in Virginia. I lived in Connecticut. You know, I've experienced a lot. And what happened was, I went home. I lost someone very close to me. I lost Walter, who raised me, you know. And I went home and I saw my parents, because I still have a great relationship with my parents. And I seen that they were aging. And I'm like, it's time to come home. There's things I don't want to miss. I want to be close to family. I've had those opportunities. I've lived. I've been married. I'm still married legally. Like, I've experienced a lot in my lifetime. So if you see me leaving Jacksonville, that means the opportunity of its lifetime that's going to set me up financially financially, and I'm just going to be at the top of my game in that field or whatever it is, that's the only way I would leave Jacksonville.
45 years old. What would Kayla tell 16-year-old Kayla?
Girl, sit your ass down. Honestly, I would tell her, take your time navigating this thing called life. Like, take your time. It's no rush. You don't have to rush a lot of things. Because when it's meant to be, it will be in its perfect time, and it will happen. So just to slow down, because I was it was nice. Some nights I never got sleep on top of experimenting with, things and just wanting to, get the money and get the bag. Like, it's some nights we never went to sleep. So just slowing down and taking care of myself, and just pacing myself. Or I honestly wish I would have listened to my parents also, and I would have went to college and gotten a degree.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. You're absolutely right. Like, I would love to be an attorney. I wish I would have listened to my parents. Very early on, I wish I would have listened to mom and daddy.
It's only 3 years.
Yes.
So
that's true.
So I ask everyone this, is Kayla dating, in a relationship? We know you said you're married, but
Yes, I'm married. I haven't seen him in years. I have been in a relationship for 12 years, Trinity, since 2011 with the same man. I'm very private. I don't have to do the picture thing. I don't have to post my life with me, my daughter, and my husband on social media, because that love and what we have is for me. That's for us. Private. That's not for the world. It's not for the masses. That's just me.
Okay.
My mom, my parents know him. My family, we know, so that's all that matters to me.
King, anything before we move to the game?
Yeah, you're definitely me, because I'm the same way. I love that. My business is my business.
Exactly.
But I'm loving how authentic you are. And I can't wait till other people, if they're not tuned in, they come back and see it, because your authenticity is just so amazing to me. And I think that is liberating, because I can tell that been there, done that. And so when I first met you, it was with my gay mother, because Tiffany Brooks, when she got ready for Black America, all she talked about was Azsia. And so I could not wait to meet you in person, because I had met you through VHSs at the time. But I had never met you in person, because Tiffany just talked. So I remember the final night, you had like the Aaliyah ponytail, and Tiffany was doing it like for a talent. She did Aaliyah, but she had the little pump with the ponytail. And I ran to the back, and I was like, Ma, Azsia got your hair on. Oh my, like, I thought it was like, oh, this is the moment. Like, so I've always just been in awe with you. So I'm just so grateful.
Thank you.
Because you're just so authentic, and people like to say people are real, and that's a fun thing to say, but real to me means someone who's not afraid of their truth. And so I find you to be so authentic. So I'm so grateful. And Rick Finn, I want to apologize to you, because I had tried you on your page when you called me Trinity's partner. But I just love the fact that when I talk to you, well, now talking to you, but when I talk to Giselle, like, Rick Finn name is like on repeat. And that says so much about his character to me, that he was really there for the girls. And I love that. It was so real. So I forgive you for calling me her partner.
You are. You're my partner.
But I have a name.
You might have a name. So, name it and claim it. You know how it works, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
I say a word. You give us the first thing that comes to your mind. You can elaborate or give us a one-word answer. So, I'm going to give you 10. We're going to start off with something easy. My mommy, Valencia Santiago.
My best friend. Like, if I have to elaborate, the way Valencia met, the way we met, we're both July Cancers. I think our birthdays are like 3 days apart. We met on some messy type shit. Like, you know, when we were younger and it was just all about the mess and the gossip. And me and Valencia just grew a bond out of nowhere because honestly, I was hanging with Natasha Braxton first. Natasha was supposed to have been the best friend, but that didn't work out. Me and Valencia just end up being cookie crunch. We've cried together. We've laughed together. There's so much she knows about me. I remember nights being on when I was doing things and I can call her and I would just start reading, just telling everybody's business. And I knew that was my friend and a true friend because I would never hear those things again. She was letting me rant or just be my messy self, and that those things were never taken to social media. They were never shared with her kids. Right. And I'm like, the loyalty between us is unrivaled. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Jennifer so much, and I known how she wanted to be MBU Grand so bad, and I wanted it for her. And I remember once she did Grand and she did great, and everyone was reaching out, and I was like, okay, we going back, right? And she was like, Judy, I think I want to do Black America. And I was like, Black America? You getting all off track? I said, I'm not helping you for that. Don't ask me about just being me because I know what you really want. But I forgot that Valencia had already laid a foundation at Black America.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I had to be fair. I was like, okay, Judy, that's what you want to do. I forgot where you started and where you started really laying your roots. You have my 100% support. That's the kind of friend I am. Like, that's my ride or die.
Love her.
That's my girl. Love her to the day I leave here.
So, speaking of NBU Grand, number 2, your NBU reign.
Taught me a lot about the industry for real. Because you got to think I was Liberty in 99. I went over to Black America in 2001. I'm still a baby. When I had the leadership of Brian, Chris, and Gerald. So it was kind of like, do you? And I could ask for anything, fabric, jewelry, wigs, and I would get it. But it wasn't until I won Universe when I learned like everything you do is not right. Like, that's not cute. That don't look good. What made you choose that? That's hideous. We don't do that. Like, it was like, damn, but y'all not buying none of this shit. I'm out here doing my thing, buying my own shit. Y'all got something to say about everything I do, but did not understand in that moment. Did not. I see why now a lot of people in the community that do shows and pageantry want to be MBU. MBU groomed me. Let's be honest. And those things that you kind of look like as them just being messy or just doing too much actually groomed me. And when you go to these other systems, you're so polished because my people taught me this. Dotting all my I's, crossing all my T's, being perfection, looking to par when you're tipping around these people's audience, and all those things groom me. So now when I get over here to the other side with the other people, it's like, wow, she's so professional.
Right.
So it was but it was an amazing grooming ground. And I didn't understand it in that moment because once again, I'm young. I'm just doing pageants because I got the money to do it. And I'm, I didn't understand those things in that moment.
Okay.
So yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
What is the first thing you think of when you hear Zakia Jamassier?
One of the most beautiful, kind-spirited people I know. Like, she could be having a rough day, and if you're in need of something, she's not gonna take it out on you. She makes it happen. She opens doors for individuals, and everyone's gonna feel how they feel about people, but I always get to know people for them And she has been nothing but amazing to me. That's like my wife. Like, you know, just a beautiful person. Love what she's done for the community and her struggle, what she's come from, to, like, you know, hear stories of those that have worked with her for free that are still working with her today now that she has the funding. So just an angel.
Symbol.
An angel.
Symbol.
Yeah.
Ramaya, your daughter.
My daughter learned fast, caught on very fast. She wanted something, and she was like, she listened to me, and she would come and say, girl, everything you told me, you was telling me the truth. I will never doubt you again. But she had to experience that for herself. And I think with her, she got wrapped up into her life being Maya. And she felt like the money I'm investing in this, I can invest into my life. She had a house built from the ground. And she's like, I can see my money going elsewhere because I could buy all these gowns and they're going to go up. But as soon as I put that gown on again, it's going to be a problem or it's going to be a read. She's like, I don't have enough money to keep up with y'all. So Ramaya is just, she's a woman. A woman.
Jacksonville, the city. What's the first thing that comes to
Country as fuck.
Really?
Country. Crabs in a pot. People don't like to see you succeed. It's a bunch. As soon as you try, they, especially with the straights, country as hell. Okay. Just gonna keep it 100. Love my city, but country.
Okay. Nikki Bonet.
You know what? You have these fashion icons that are celebrities, but they're made into fashion icons because of their stylist. Nikki Bonet was a real fashion icon without a stylist. She was the stylist. She was fashion, and however she was getting it, she was that girl. I'm sorry.
Now, are those? Let me stop you. Are those stories true about sleeping in stores? You and her?
No, it wasn't a sleeping store, but let me tell you something, baby. We could be in Saks, Neiman's, and she'll say, sis, what shoes you want? She said, you know where to meet me. And my sister's coming out with the Eve
with it all.
The Bouchers, the Stuart Weitzman. She might have a gown or two. Like this, we were wearing like shit from Miss Scarlett's to the Marquette. Like we ran Dior. Like Nikki was the fashion icon.
We miss Nikki.
Yes, we do. She calls me sometimes. When she gets her phone, she does call.
Okay, good. What's the first thing you think of when you hear Renaissance? Watch your mouth.
You know what? When I think of Renaissance, I think of Randall. I'm always going to see Randall when it comes to Renaissance. And something we have to realize in life. Everyone's not going to see eye to eye. Everyone's not going to agree on the same things. And it's like either you're going to accept it or not. And it's either you're coming or you're not. That's how I can simply leave that. You know, it's no read because, you know, there's so many stories. There's been court cases and then, you know, Randall's kids ride or die for him, baby. Like, Nicole, you can't say nothing about her daddy. Like, you know, and it's to a point where are you getting that? Would I ever come back to Renaissance pageant?
Well, we would love for you to come back this year, but I'm just saying, what's the first thing that you would think of when you think of it, since you were a former, or you are a former, rather?
The first thing I would think about it.
But you said it. You said Randall. That's the first thing.
Randall. Randall.
Randall K. Smith.
And we hope to see you November 23rd and 24th, or on the 24th.
Well, being that I'm going to be Queen of Drag, I will be taking home the $50,000. I'm going to be everywhere, darling.
We'll get to that. What is the first thing you think of when you hear DeAndre Bonet?
I'm gonna tell you, the brains. When me and DeAndre were Miss and Miss by Universe, it was like, okay, you the beauty, you just stand there, look pretty. He's the brains. He's gonna wheel the people in, and that's always how it would happen.
Okay.
We would have prelims that I didn't know we was having. DeAndre, wife stand here, you just look pretty, and baby, we would be having the prelims. Okay. So the brains.
Okay. Without going too deep, what is the first thing you think of when you hear Continental? Because we want to get to that in the end. But.
I'm just gonna say a different level.
Okay.
A different level, and not a level. And let me not a level where it's greater than anything or any other pageant or any other system I've accomplished or any other a system that exists today. It's just that the things that I may have had to do when I was Miss MBU and those things that groom me, it's a totally different ball game, because a lot of things that are required of you in Black pageantry is not required of you, and that's why I say that, because when I got to Continental, I was like, oh, Jam, I have to go to this walk.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Two more.
Just a different level.
Yeah, two more. Basha.
My teacher, the best teacher I had in this game, like the confidence, me on stage still exudes her. It was so scary. I remember doing Liza with the Z at Continental and going back and seeing that, and it was like it was her. Just my teacher, the master to me, the woman that taught me everything.
The last one, clearly, Rick Benn.
That relationship is gonna always be never ending. I'm gonna say never ending. Remember, I took Rick's last name. I love that man so much. He could do no wrong in my eyes. He made me. He's like, you can do drag. You can be a showgirl, but you're not gonna be no dumb showgirl. You're gonna get your education. Hard at times. He's gotten softer now that he's gotten older, but he's still him. He loves drag. He loves drag so much sometimes it pisses me off. Like he's gonna do it. He that man loves drag. He loves you all. He loves his community. He loves a pageant, and that grinds my gears sometimes. But I love him.
So we're gonna move on to the meat and potatoes. I know you're ready for this section, but before we do that, you are headed to a pageant in September. So plug all of your financial outlets so that people can sponsor you if they want.
Okay. To be honest, the pageant, why I decided to do Queen of Drag, it offered so much that I've never been even given from a sponsor. Because people already knew what I'd done, so I've never had someone say, okay, I'm gonna do your entire package. Some girls have that opportunity or have had that opportunity. I've never had that. So when Queen of Drag was presented to me, and it was saying it's two categories, we're gonna pay for your talent, and we're gonna pay for X, Y, and Z. Anything over that, you're responsible for. So really, you're giving me the bulk of. So you're saying I gotta probably do costuming. Paying for those type of things take a lot of money. So with someone saying I'm gonna pay for the talent for you to be in this competition, you're gonna do this other category that you're probably gonna pay for. It was just like a lot of good bells and whistles. To be asked was an honor, because there were a lot of girls that went through, and some declined, some moved forward. I just thought it was a fun opportunity for me, especially being in closing my chapter out in pageantry, because to be honest with you, 2024 is Aja's last year in pageantry. So there are going to be some things you are going to see me in this year, including Queen of Drag. And however, that's going to be it for me, because I'm just at a different place in life, and pageantry has changed. I've lived in different eras of pageantry, and a lot has changed now. So this will be like my wrap up. But the opportunity.
Wrap up year or wrap up pageant? Because you slipped that
my
in.
My wrap up year with pageantry, period.
So there may be other pageants after Queen of Drag, is what you're saying.
And they will be all in the same year.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yes. So they will all be this year.
Okay.
This is it for Azsia. I wanna go around and be certain things, because Queen of Drag is a competition. Queen of Drag is not a pageant.
Okay.
So that's why there's 2 more things I really, really, really want to do when I got my eyes on them, and I've been had my eyes on them, and I think I want to check those boxes off, and I'll be done. So
I'm trying to play math here.
And both in 2024?
The other 2 are in 2024.
All 3 will be in 2024.
Are they after Queen of Drag?
They might be. One might shock you before Queen of Drag. You never know.
We'll talk. We talk offline.
Yeah.
So you're going to Queen of Drag. So how can someone send you money? What's your Cash App?
So my Cash App is The Kid Bazooka, $THEKIDBAZOOKA. You can Zelle me. My email address is KaylaChanel78@iCloud, or if you know me personally, you have my phone number. My phone number is attached to my Zelle. I have PayPal, Azsia Entertainment, just Azsia, AZSIA Entertainment, PayPal. I have a GoFundMe going right now because, like I stated, working for a company that is seeing, this surgery as a more of a plastic surgery or cosmetic. They have really given me pushback with paying me for this time off. They have not approved anything. The lady called me and she was like, the way it was written. I was like, yes, but do you see all the dates? My doctor told you I've been seeing him for this. Like, some things are so self-explanatory, but the way it was submitted is looking like I'm just doing a BBL. I'm just doing a BBL, or I'm just trying to do some extra stuff. But God,
when we're done, can you put them in the comments and the Queen can pin it so they can stay there?
Thank you so much. So yeah.
Where do you see the state of drag right now, from your lens, in your eyes?
That depends on what system we're talking about.
Okay. So let's throw a system out. Continental.
We're going to always have contestants because of its grandeur, the girls that have come before. I remember seeing Cezanne, didn't know what Continental was, but didn't know any history of Continental, but I seen Cezanne and it was like, oh, I want to be that. I want to do that. Didn't know anything about it. I think it's just going to always hold its legacy, like with the girls that have come before. And a lot of times, a lot of girls in that industry that have come before me or in my era, girls are always looking up to those girls. But I think for pageantry now, it's becoming more of a business than what it used to be. Because you remember, a lot of times, a lot of pageants were built on stunts and, the love people had for the industry. But now I think it has definitely converted over to more of a business.
Do you think that's good or bad?
It's good. But it's really good for those pageants that really give those underdogs a chance. Like, if someone come beat Azsia at Duval and they deserve to beat me, she's gonna beat me. So those pageants like that, I adore that, because that anybody can be Duval, anybody can be Continental. Like, look at it was a time when you kind of already knew who was going to, because we knew this girl put the time in, or she just was a popular girl at that time. And it's really not going that route anymore. It's the girl that's really prepared, and she comes in and she takes the crown. That's how I feel like a lot of pageants are starting to go now. And I think that's better, because you lose a lot of contestants and numbers when people already know what you're going to do with, going into something. And I think that has changed a lot for pageantry. So I see it going more of it's becoming a business. For some, you have business owners who have these preliminaries, and sometimes these preliminaries are tax write-offs for them because they know the financial game, they know, finances, they know money. So it's looking like more of a business to me. Do I feel like there's pageants that still have like that family, that togetherness? Yes, I do. Always. Like Universe, Black America. Like, I haven't been to Black America in so long, but looking at that picture of everyone that I remember watching and where they've come to, and to see like the Giselles and all of them, I really hated that I missed Black America this year. I'm coming into my soft girl era, my soft, emotional era, and I really hate I missed that. And I will be at NBA this year because I want to be there for Valencia's Give Up, Giselle as well. Like, some things I look at, even look at pictures from Universe, like, I just missed that. But sometimes when you have a name for yourself, and if your finances are not like how you want them to be, because you do want to shine on stage, you still want to make your mark. If I don't feel I'm not going to do that, I don't want to attend. That's just me personally.
Continental, you're only 45. So when you won, you were 40, 41.
I had just turned 40.
Yeah, just turned 40. So that's still fairly young. Nothing about you says elite physically, aesthetically. So what was the decision to go do elite opposed to Miss Continental? Because it felt like you was competing against your grandmothers. And so, like, what was the choice of that?
So this is the crazy thing.
Okay.
That made me do Continental Elite. I had a conversation with Jim Flint.
Okay.
And we're sitting and we're talking, and in his eyes, Elite is bigger to him than Miss Continental, because he felt like the elite girls are the most groomed, the well polished, they're the business girls, they're the professionals, you know what you're getting. So he felt like elite was like the top of the game girls to him, and that's what made me choose to do elite.
Right. And I'm sure you're clear that you changed the face of elite, right? You made it younger. Okay. So you are.
I think it kind of started with Lorna, and then it was me, and then it was Jasmine.
Right.
And I remember going to my first preliminary, and I had beat Paula, Ginger Manchester, Connie, and I remember those girls sitting in that interview. Dina, they were in an interview like, y'all need to change this age, because now these fresh girls coming in, and it's kind of like they felt a certain kind of way. But my thing is, what about the girls that are 50 and 60 that still look like me and still could rumble with y'all?
That's true.
So now that's why you see the age has been raised at Continental Elite to 45.
Okay.
It's no longer 40.
But I think that is like beautiful there, because I remember Chevelle won USA Classic or Elite when she was turning 40. So I think that I guess, I hate to say this, but I kind of agree with Jim a lot, though, because I think that Classic and Elite really are the girls that are groomed to reign, whereas right now the regular pageants have started over, so it's kind of newcomer-ish. So
you're getting new faces, you're getting new energy, you're getting girls who you don't know and you don't know what they're capable of, but then you got these elite girls who have names that we already are aware of that are coming in, with the following maybe, and just know how to do the job. So that's all that is. I had felt like I would need to go back and be Continental, but at this point, no, because it was like, girl, I could have kind of really took what I did at Elite and probably won Continental.
Yes, that's
like, child, You know, I'm
Yeah.
very, you know me. Anybody that knows me knows I study a
Right.
pageant. I was never the girl that I'm just gonna jump in to see what it's given. No, I like to sit in the audience and watch. I've watched Universe, Black America, Continental. So I kind of watch it to get the formula, and then that's when I feel like I'm gonna go. When I know
It's
I
like,
kind of get the formula.
it's like I think about Courtney Van Wells. I think she got first run up to like Tiffany Hunter, and then she went and won Elite, but she could have obviously gone
Yeah,
back, but
absolutely.
she got first run up. And then I think about Shay Shay and LaWanda. They
Mm-hmm.
won USA Classic, and then when they
And
won
USA.
USA, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with your long track record of pageants, because you've been just about everything, especially on the Black side. So you've been the Black Americans, you've been Black Universe, and I don't really consider Sweetheart, Renaissance, Liberty, all of those Black, but we know they're Black.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you've been on that coin, and then you went over to do Continental. So you've been on what we consider the white side, although clearly formers are back to back to back African American or brown girls. What is, in your lens, the difference between, let's just say, our Black systems and Continental in your eyes? Is there a difference, or what is the prominent difference to you?
There is a difference, and I'm speaking only from, I'm not, and
From your
I'm not,
experience.
I'm speaking from my experience and my era in
Right.
pageantry. A lot of times in Black pageantry, you had a job to do because you want to look to par, you want to be able to entertain, you want to be appeasing to those girls or to those contestants that may be interested in this pageant. And it's like you probably were sitting on the phone with these people. You're calling, checking on them and seeing their progress with the pageant. And you're doing your job, and you're going above and beyond. You're doing more work. And when I got over to the other side, I didn't have to do that stuff. It was kind of like, oh, it's self-explanatory. The girls are going to come. You don't have to do that. I was like, oh, I want to go to the National Wall. Oh, that's something you can do if you want, but everyone knows who Continental is. So it's like, okay.
So it's a little easier for you, is what you're saying. It was,
Absolutely,
do you think the process of winning was easier too?
absolutely, because for me, I was in a different time and space in my life, mentally, emotionally, physically. What I was coming from, it was easier. I wasn't stressed out. I had a really great promoter. I had people that really followed through with what they said they were going to do for that journey for me. Promoters had their money. My flight was booked. It wasn't booked the night before. And I'm not reading.
No.
Anyone or anything. I'm just saying the difference. Like, things were done. I was treated a certain way. I had my money probably when I arrived. And remember now, every girl's journey is different at these pageants, because I have continental sisters that was like, this didn't happen for me, and this. So everyone's journey is different in these places and these spaces. Let's
because we experience that here at Renaissance. Ours is totally different from what we've heard, so we definitely.
And I just think that's amazing I don't care what system it is, Black, white, Latino, whatever. If I have put in my time, my energy, my money into this, and I'm fortunate enough to win, just show me that same respect by being professional, like you want me to be professional. You want me to look a certain way, you want me to be a certain way when I'm out, be prepared, absolutely. But don't be getting me no flight at no last minute. I don't know where I'm going when I do this. It's no ride for me when I get here. Like, just make sure we're treating these entertainers and these people accordingly, whether they deserve it or not. Because I think that becomes an issue when people start to get people that are lackers, or this wasn't something they were expecting. So now I'm not going to follow through, but you want this person to follow through with this contract. So whether you like it or not, and it's not meeting your expectations, follow through with what you're obligated to do.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying.
So you 30 years almost in the game. So you've seen back in the day when the numbers were huge at Patton's, 30, 40 girls. Mm-hmm. You see now you can sometimes only get 5 at certain systems. Why do you think numbers have declined?
Shit expensive.
Okay.
Shit expensive out here. It's an inflation in prices on everything. When you call somebody for the most smallest thing, the starting price is $200, darling. We're not getting gowns for $500 anymore. Those gown consultations are $3,000, $4,000. The makeup, the kids know if you're a certain girl in the industry, people, and I feel like people give different prices to different people.
They do.
Let's establish that.
Right.
Oh, it's Azsia. Thank God, you know what? Thank God for my team that love and adore me. Because guess what? And I'm a girl that I don't feel like because you my brother, my sister, my auntie, whatever your price is, let me know your price because I'm going to pay you. I'm not looking for a discount because this is your business and this is your job. This is your livelihood. I'm going to respect you as such. Now, if you decide to give me a little discount, I'm grateful for that. But whatever your fee is, I'm going to pay that. But I think the price of things have increased so much. We no longer have our girlfriends putting our talent together. Choreography fee is $1,500. Each dance is $250 a night. If you're in that city, if you're traveling, we gotta buy the flights. You're doing 2 different talents. It's $350, $450. That shit add up. Like the cost of things have went up so drastically. And now we're no longer doing things for each other because you're my sister, you my brother. Well, we would all, you know, when we were all living in a house together and we gonna all do the pageant together. Okay, we gonna do the 70s with you. You go ahead and do Liza, and then we gonna come do Jazz Hot with Alexis because all this money going home with all of us because where we live, it's no longer like that.
So how do we switch that back, or do we have to just deal with it moving forward?
I think we have to deal with that because that's just the economy now. It's just the economy now. And you know what? My thing is when I'm seeing girls in patterns, hats off to you girls because, bitch, that shit costs money.
It do.
It costs a nice coin. So I'm not going to even shade you. I'd be looking for a little sponsor or somebody that takes something off and say, hey, sis, I'm going to pay Reggie for you, or I'm going to do Josh, or I'm going to do your rooms. Like, we be looking for that now. This is not like when we could put, and then when you're dealing with professional dancers, they not going forth to no room and we traveling. Some on their own room. Some company tell you 2 to a room. Remember, we could all stay in the room. The dancers, the girl in the pageant. So definitely have seen the change in things. I think we're just living in an economy now where things are so much higher, and we've lost that family bond when we go to pageants now. Mm-hmm. That's like when Birmingham would be coming to Duval with Yasmin, Oris, everybody's coming with that girl, or all us going up the road with Alexis and Basha in a U-Haul, and that is out. Now your girlfriends want the flight. And if that's your job and that's your business, I'm gonna do that. But it's just a different time now in pageantry.
That definitely does make sense. Do you feel like you have everything that you won? Do you feel like you rightfully won it? Or do you feel like, oh, I was Azsia, so they probably, you know.
Oh, let me tell you something. Everything I won, I had to win. Absolutely. And if anybody feels something was given to me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you feel that way, but I feel like I really had to win everything. I had to really earn it. Like I just and I was a lucky girl because I did Black America 3 times. Mm-hmm. Universe I watched, I did 1 time. Mm-hmm. Liberty, I had done it 3 times. Mm-hmm. Duval, I did it 4 times. Mm-hmm. Continental 1 time, but I did small Continental before. Right. So if they feel that way, I'm sorry, but no, I won.
Miss MBU Grant says reigning can be very expensive. What to you makes a good queen? Because you know you often hear she's a good queen, she's not a good queen, he's not a good king. What do you feel?
you know, I've noticed in the industry as I've, navigated this, like, you can't have it all. I've seen a lot of girls that were very entertaining, but very cheap.
Mm.
I've seen girls that were very expensive but couldn't entertain. And then it's just some of those girls in that pot that just have it all. You got some girls that are entertaining and they got the wardrobe. It's like a melting pot of a lot of different backgrounds. But look at the girls that were there that have faded out now, and then look at those that are still standing.
Okay, the longevity girls. Ken, you got anything right quick to jump on this section?
No, I think y'all wrapped that up real good. I agree with everything she said.
You're known for also being an MC and a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sat on a panel and said, that wasn't right, she didn't win, and what did you do?
Nothing, because they still with what they wanted. And my thing was, if you knew what you're gonna do, what you called me for? Like, y'all could have just did what y'all wanted. And then you know what I don't like now? I don't like judging anymore. Okay. I've come to I would rather MC and come crank it up on the mic, because judging severs relationships. Judging severs relationships, or even if you have, your hand in the pot over here and a girl running, they think because y'all relationship is winning, they don't win, they're mad at you. And it's like, well, first of all, some things happened that I was not happy with, but I didn't want to throw you off your game. Coming to you in that moment, you're here and saying, hey, they kind of not gonna have me doing XYZ. I didn't want to do that, and then now you don't speak to me anymore because you didn't win, and you may not have been happy with the outcome, and I get it. But if we were really friends, or I was your auntie or whatever, like, come have that conversation with me and hear me out before you just assume like I'm just out to get you, because I'm so far along in my career, I don't have the energy to be trying to get nobody.
I remember, now let's go back. 2016, me and you had got into it real bad on Facebook. Real bad on Facebook. But it wasn't us. It was that other person that was cooking it. You know who. And so you was judging Sweetheart Plus, and I did the pageant. And I came, I said, she got to go. I'm not doing it unless y'all remove her. Of course, Gia and Candy said they're not going to remove her. They're going to keep her. They'll monitor the scores. So in my mind, I'm not going to win. She's going to work me, da-da-da. So I was checked out. I think I gained respect for you when you came backstage. You came to my station. I probably should be saying this, but you said, bitch, get it together. I can't work with you if you can't work with me. I'm not finna work you. I need you to get in the game. And then after the pageant, we talked, and we got everything good. We've been good ever since. And I looked at them scores. It was not you. It was somebody else. But it was not you. So I get it where you relationships can be so iffy when you're judging. And you
but
think.
Why would I? If I'm mad with you about something else, and I know what goes into patterns because I done been cheated.
Right.
Girl, all that's going out the door because people spend their money on this, and this don't have nothing to do with what we feel about.
Right.
So I'm gonna judge you accordingly, and that's just no shade.
Yes, and
I have a question about that though. So, like, what would you say, or what advice would you give someone that, well, for me personally, I've been contacted by 3 people from a particular pageant. And it's a pageant that I'm like literally like not looking at, right? Because and I'm not looking at it because I feel aesthetically is not my pageant.
Okay.
And they are like really reaching out, people are reaching out, and I'm like really like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because in my mind the pageant is for a particular aesthetic. Have you ever done a pageant that you felt mentally that ain't my pageant, but yet I really want it? And if so, like, well, how did you get yourself in the mind frame? Like, I'm not afraid, I'm gonna go on and do it.
No, I've never done that. Anything I've done, I've been interested in.
Oh, okay.
And because of that,
But I'm interested, but
Mhm.
because of the fear of me feeling like it's not my aesthetic.
don't
Aesthetic.
do it. There's a lot of pageants out here where people have reached out to me, and it's no shade to them. It's not my aesthetic. It does not align with my character, my persona, or who I am in the industry. And sometimes I feel like some pageants that people be reaching out are a step back from me. No shade. I feel like I've come further than that, and I've progressed at that. So let me give the other girls coming up an opportunity to do that. Because who's to say I step back and do that and it's not my night? And then guess what? Miss New Baby done won. Not saying she shouldn't have, but I just feel like everything is not for you.
Right.
There's a lot of patterns that have been not for me. You know, there's patterns that I probably was not even welcomed at because people say, "Oh, this person reached out to me." Baby, I done messaged girls about patterns and they done looked at the messages or not even opened the messages. So that kind of lets me know, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Do you feel that the je ne sais quoi of being certain systems has gone down because there's so many pageants now?
No.
Okay.
I still feel like when you're a ruler, you're a ruler. I feel like rulers still hold their weight. Symbols still hold their weight. Continental getting your seat still holds their weight. It just depends.
Okay.
A lot of pageants still hold their weight. And like, you know, look at like the new girls, like the Bobby Sinclairs and all them that want to be rulers, and they come for it. So I think a lot of pageants still hold their weight. Like I think Black America and Black Universe will always hold their weight in our community.
But
because
do you think we are oversaturated with pageants? Or do you think, hey, it is what it is, get it where you
basically,
fit?
do I think some pageants should be canceled like TV shows? Absolutely. I do.
Okay.
And it's no shame because people spend their money, that's their money, you know, and things like that. But it's just
it's too much. You're very vocal about newcomers stepping up. Why?
Because I didn't have a lot of newcomer pageants when I started. I had to run against the best. I wouldn't have never, who would have thought I would ever beat a Tasha Long or been a first run up to Jasmine Bonet if I was too busy trying to do all the newcomer pageants. If I know I could beat all y'all, why I still want to do that? Like, I know I could beat all you bitches. Let me go see if I could do something with these other bitches. So why you still want to do newcomer after newcomer after newcomer, like, and then now people are not taking you serious because you didn't want to be a newcomer for 10 years.
So what do you think is the time frame for a newcomer? Realistically.
I love USA because USA newcomer, I think you get 3 times, and after that, that's a wrap. I think that's. But then look at the dismantling of these national pageants that have gotten rid of the newcomer pageants. I think honestly, newcomer pageants was a way to make money. They seen there was a market, like the new kids was coming out the yin yang, and now it's no longer that. So just look at all the dismantling of the newcomer systems.
Yeah, and like looking at that, look at Miss Continental. She's a product of USA newcomer. Tonica Cavalli was USA newcomer. Lindsay Page. The girl who just got first runner up at USA, Alexa, she just gave up USA newcomer. So yeah, that 3-year thing really pushed.
3 years really worked. It pushes you, and you like. It shouldn't take you 10 years to get critiques.
No. With your long resume, and you've seen different how it works or how it is to win, do you think that each system has a formula, or you be who you are no matter what?
Absolutely. Each system has a formula, but with that being said, be your authentic self when doing that system and presenting that formula. Just still be your authentic self.
So let me throw some out there. What do you think it takes to be a Miss Black America?
You know what? I'm really proud of Black America because I remember talking to girls about Black America and like, okay, now when you do sports, well, make sure you have your hat,
Your
your
gloves.
gloves,
Mm-hmm.
your shoes closed in if you're doing winter, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that the fat. So sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm on live, y'all. I think I'm just happy to see after such a long time where Giselle took the sportswear category this past year. Like that was amazing to me. Like, oh, because I've ran for Black America since 1997. Mm-hmm. I think the year was Joshua one, and it was all about. I remember not winning sportswear because I didn't have gloves.
See that look key component.
Yeah.
But so, in saying
mm-hmm.
that, how do you feel that tradition was changed?
I love it.
Okay.
Because now it attracts more people. We don't still have the 40 and 50-year-old girls trying to be Miss Black America. Now we got the fresh 20-year-old girls and 30-year-old girls, because sometimes that could look like, oh, that's for the old girls.
Yeah, and it's been said. It's been said. I'm going to come there when I get ready to retire.
Right, and it might have been young girls like the Nikki Bonets that have the fashion and want to take it, but they were like, I can't do that because they're not going to accept that. I'm going to get a 0. I'm not going to win. So I'm glad it went that way. Okay. It opens doors for like the new generation.
And looking at the VHSs, you and Nikki were like, y'all were fashion forward doing Black America. So I think it's beautiful that they changed the rules to match the time. Because y'all
and we were fashion forward, but we still had to have them gloves. You had that hat, you had that purse. You was not leaving any of them elements out, and I did leave that element out. So I think when I did go back, I was high tech, but I had patent leather gloves, I had the boots, I had the purse. I made sure I had all those things. But I'm just glad to see where it's come to now.
Right. At one point in time, you were someone who was very vocal. You said what you wanted to say. Nobody could stop you. You was very me. That's why I think we got along so well.
Yes.
What made you, I wouldn't necessarily say change, but what made you kind of pivot from that type of person? This is for me. I want to know this.
You can't be honest with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes I've been attacked because it's who I am in the industry, if that makes sense. Because how can a person that's attending an event that paid their money said this about the pageant, and I didn't attend. I'm just seeing what people say, and then I post it and I'm attacked. I will fight you. And I'm like, well, wait, your patrons are saying it. So I had to realize, and it's something that Rick made me realize, it's not what you say, it's just sometimes who you are in the industry. And sometimes it's so many times I type stuff and I'll be like, delete, discard.
I'll be trying.
I still have those moments. So I just try to keep it more positive now, because I know my mouth is, and people just take what I say and it's like, oh my God.
It's magnified, like, yes.
Oh, like when I said nigga shit, oh my God. I was attacked. I was a man. It was just too much. So I just kind of keep those thoughts to myself.
How do you come back from those attacks, though? Do you just move on, or do you try to explain yourself? I think I have an issue with that too. Do you try to explain?
No, I move on because I still sleep good at night. My bills still have to be paid. That stuff don't make or break me. It don't change my career or none of that. So I just move on. I don't hold on to it. That's just your opinion, and that just go back to, like I said, however you feel about me, it's cool.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lose any sleep. That's not gonna change anything. So, but just to keep the confusion down and going back and forth with somebody who's not important to me on a social media platform, like, I just keep those thoughts to myself, or I share them with those close to me, like my Judy Valencia.
Yes. Give me 3 girls who you see right now will be in your shoes in 20 years. Longevity, legends, still tuned with.
Oh, child, Giselle Barbie. I'm going to say something so funny, because it's like, I was talking to my brother, and I'm like, you know how like when my era and Raquel era, how with so many hot girls in that one era at one time. I feel like Giselle is the hottest girl in her era right now. Show me her opponent. It's like nobody's really battling with her, like, you know, and she's amazing to me. I think Giselle would be one of those girls. Because it's the pageant scene is so, you know, you had all us doing
Raquel said
everything.
something that was important. She said there's a lot of potential, but there's no girls that are actually like that because they have one room, 1 foot out, 1 foot in. Do you see that? Is that's why you're stuck on that?
I see that a lot. Oh, Amaya Glamazon. Amaya Glamazon, Giselle Bobby Royale. One more girl.
We love your honesty. You came up in the era, and if you could think, we can go back to it. But you came up in the era where your kings and your male leads were masculine.
No, they weren't.
Oh, they weren't. So they wore heels back then.
Can I tell you something? I'm just being honest. I think all the pageants I've won, I had one man as a king.
So Rick says
no, two. I had two men that were men that like these men today don't carry no luggage. They don't even check on the queens no more. They don't say you need something, queen. Like I've had a lot of titles, and I've had two kings. One of them was Calvin Sinclair, and one of them was our Darius Black.
Yes, all right.
Neandre took care of me. That probably was my last gentleman counterpart.
But yeah, I think Reggie, maybe, I don't know if I'm interpreting it wrong. I meant on stage. So you saying they weren't men on stage as well?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, they were. Yeah. I had been on stage.
So I think that's what I'm getting at. Now we're seeing a shift and a pivot of that. Where
they wearing the heels. And can I be honest with you? I personally feel like I don't want to do pageant with Miss and Miss. I just want to do the stuff with just Miss.
Right. So my question is, I guess you just answered it. How do you feel about that change?
Just give me a Miss pageant. Because sometimes the newcomer king be more masculine than the big king. And I be
but you know that some of us actually
give me him. Give me the newcomer king instead.
But some of us still enjoy caring about our counterpart and being the earrings to their gowns.
Yes, masculine on stage, absolutely. Like, you know, yeah, like it's. I just want to do the Miss pageant. I don't want to wear like Miss US of A Classic, Miss Continental Elite. You know.
Well, that's not in 2024. That's in 2025.
No, I'm just giving you examples of just Miss pageant.
I'm picking with you. I'm picking with you because it's coming after y'all, but I'm like, okay.
And then another thing, I don't care. I don't really care about the Miss and Mister because you might get a cheaper king and he might not match your swag or your je ne sais quoi, and then you're overpowering him and outshining him because everyone's not fashion forward or they don't. Just give me the Miss pageant.
What is a good prize package for a national pageant to you?
For a national pageant should be giving you at least $5,000 at crowning.
Oh, Jesus.
You should be, and that's my opinion. Let's add up.
Okay. No, yeah.
Okay. That goes back to choreographer. Let's say it's a 2-night pageant. A lot of times choreographers want 2 different choreographer fees unless you're doing the same talent both nights. So if you're trying to win this pageant, let's say I do 2 different talents. That right there is already $3,500. Now we got to pay the dancers. Now we got to travel the dancers. Now we got to put the dancers up. Now I got to pay for costuming. Now I got to pay for Reggie or Q to come with me. Now I got to pay for this person to come. You know, that adds up. So
You ain't even got to your gown, sportswear, presentation, swimsuit.
And then some of them be having too many categories to be giving me $1,000 at the end of the night. No, ma'am. You're basically telling me I just came for a booking and it was $250 per category. and when I'm doing that, that means that's out the closet. That's an out the closet pageant. Now I don't mind getting, you know, when I'm coming out the closet money, but a pageant where I'm starting from scratch with everything, baby, y'all need to be giving these people $5,000 the night they went at least. Especially if y'all know y'all have no work set up for them.
True.
No work. Like, come on now. We got to do better with that. Like, $1,000 to me for a national reputable pageant is an insult to me. Now, back in 1990, that's different.
Yeah, because the times were different. Economy was different.
The times were different, and a lot of times these pageants had pageants out the yin yang. Like USA had prelims to prelims, so you didn't care about getting 1,000 because you working.
Right.
You working, but now we not working.
How do you feel about 2-night pageants if it's not a preliminary night?
I think it's a waste of time now. I think it's a waste of time now. Because guess what? That girl could be good prelim night and final night and shit 365 days of the year. So whether you get a 2 nights or not, it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I think 1 night is enough. I really do. I feel like stretching it out. And then if you're stretching it out and it's going long and people start to compare pageants, well, I went to Chicago and we was out of there at 10:30 and they had 40 contestants and y'all had a top 10 and we didn't get home till 2 o'clock. We didn't get to go to no clubs and come on.
Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. Azsia, you beat the record. You have beat the time record. Girl, we have been talking 2 hours and 5 minutes.
What? And that's what we're about to wrap up.
Yes.
What do you want your legacy to be?
You know what, Trinity? That's so hard because now I see like when death comes now, girls are forgotten so quickly. Girls are forgotten so quickly now. Like death is like, it's not, we don't, a lot of times we don't mourn a lot of girls when they leave. Like we mourn those close to us. Like I'm still mourning the loss of Walter because we had such a phenomenal relationship and we've been through things together. If it's a girl that nobody knew or that they did know, or depending on the situation, I just think like we so desensitized to death now to like, I think the memory fades so quick. So remember me how I was if you do remember me once I'm gone.
Okay. So King is going to do the jewel. He's going to tell you about that.
Okay.
Well, I know that you've watched the show, so I know you're kind of familiar, but we just asked for our icon to just leave us with a nugget or a few nuggets for us or for the viewers, something that we can take with us that can actually help us and assist us as we navigate what you've already done.
I always remember that I'm not above you. I'm never beneath you, but I'm always right here with you.
Okay.
I love that.
Anything else you want to say to your audience, to the people that's going to be watching this?
You know what? I really appreciate being still reputable in this industry and people still checking for me to cut a corner or see me in a pageant. That makes me feel so amazing because when I compete. That means a lot to me that people still see it for me. That means a lot. that they still see that people still checking for me, like, okay, now don't underestimate this because she know how to do it and she did this, and that makes me feel good. I'm not something of the past. Like, people still take me serious and they still like, okay, she could still stand with you all. So that makes me feel proud. And it's also about the reinventing of yourself, because a lot of times I've seen girls in this industry that are still that same girl in 96 when I met them, or still that same in 2000. So for me to just be blessed with the reinvention of myself and to stay afloat on the fashion and everything and still be able to dominate in pageantry, that's amazing to me, because everybody doesn't have that.
Right. So everyone watching, she is on her way to Queen of Drag. In September, she's on her way to 2 other pageants that I hope to get the privy to, but I think I know one. So she'll be announcing that soon. Azsia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
talking
me.
to us these last 2
Thank
hours.
you.
I mean, we could have went on and on and on and on.